Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to strip away the hype and have a brutally honest, transparent conversation about what it actually requires to generate a significant income with a blog in the current digital landscape. I am going to share the unfiltered reality of my own experience running successful websites, where I managed to generate consistent organic traffic, mastered the complex art of search engine optimization, and ultimately turned a profit. However, before we dive into the tactics, I need to manage your expectations immediately because the internet is filled with misleading promises. This is not a video about how to get rich overnight, nor is it a promise that you will be driving a Lamborghini next month. If you are asking yourself whether starting a blog today will make you a millionaire by next week, the answer is a definitive no. But if you are asking whether a blog can generate a healthy, reliable side income that could eventually replace your full-time job, the answer is absolutely yes. It is entirely possible. But achieving that level of success requires a very specific, calculated strategy that the vast majority of beginners completely ignore. Most people approach blogging completely backwards by treating it as a personal diary where they write about their feelings, their daily routines, or random thoughts, and then they are confused when their bank account remains empty. In this comprehensive guide, I am going to walk you through exactly how to start a blog the right way, how to avoid the catastrophic mistakes that kill profitability before you even begin, and exactly which monetization methods actually work right now. The power of hyper-specialization. The single most common reason that new blogs fail is a complete lack of focus. If you do not choose a specific narrow topic or niche, you are not just confusing your potential visitors, you're confusing Google's algorithms. If the search engine does not clearly understand what your website is an authority on, it simply will not rank you, and you will remain invisible. If I were starting over from scratch today with zero traffic and zero authority, I would never start a general lifestyle blog or a broad news site. Instead, I would build a hyper-focused resource hub or a local news website dedicated to a microscopic niche. For example, do not waste your time building a generic travel site that competes with billion-dollar corporations. Instead, build a site dedicated entirely to a specific small town in Greece, covering every single restaurant, hotel, and hidden beach in that one location. Alternatively, you could build a site dedicated to a very specific trade, such as locksmithing, plumbing, or vintage watch repair. When you focus your energy on one narrow topic, it becomes significantly easier to rank in search engines because you are signaling to Google that you are a subject matter expert. The people who are interested in that specific topic will appreciate your depth of knowledge, which builds trust, and trust is the currency of the internet. When you have established trust, people are far more likely to subscribe to your newsletter, which is crucial because building an email list allows you to drive traffic on demand, lowering your reliance on paid advertising or volatile algorithm changes. Furthermore, if you are running a local niche site, local businesses are often willing to pay a premium for promotional posts because they know your audience is exactly the demographic they are trying to reach. A common question I hear is whether you can pivot your niche later down the road, and the answer is a strict no. If you start a site about holistic wellness and your domain name reflects that, you cannot suddenly switch to reviewing technology or dog food because it sends conflicting signals to Google, which can completely destroy your rankings. Realistic timelines and financial truths. Let us address the financial questions that you are likely asking yourself right now. Can a complete beginner actually make money in this industry? Yes, they can, but you must not expect a financial windfall during your first few months of operation. How much can you realistically make? This depends entirely on your monetization model. If you plan to rely solely on display advertisements, such as Google AdSense, the mathematics of success are incredibly difficult. You might earn $3 to $5 for every 1,000 views, and for a new blog with low traffic, it's often much lower. To make a full-time living strictly off display ads, you need hundreds of thousands of monthly visitors, which takes a long time to build. How long does it take to earn your first dollar? It could take a few months, or it could take a few years depending on your execution. In my personal experience, I barely made a dime during my first year because I was stumbling through trial and error, treating the project like a hobby rather than a serious business enterprise. I didn't understand the technical side of things like HTML, CSS, or how to configure plugins, and most importantly, I didn't understand SEO. Without traffic, you have no revenue. And you must remember, traffic isn't just numbers on an analytics screen. Traffic represents real human beings. If you attract low-quality traffic that isn't interested in your specific offer, no one will click your affiliate links and no one will buy your products.
Required skills and capital investment. A common misconception is that you need to be an award-winning author or a master computer programmer to succeed in blogging. This is simply not true. You do not need to be a professional writer. You just need to be helpful and clear. Today, we have access to incredible artificial intelligence tools that can analyze, overhaul, and improve your writing instantly. You can ask AI to fix your grammar, suggest structural improvements, or even help you brainstorm outlines, meaning that writing ability is no longer a barrier to entry. Regarding coding, while some knowledge of CSS is useful for minor customization, modern platforms like WordPress utilize powerful plugins that handle almost all of the heavy lifting for you. However, you absolutely need to treat this like a business, and all legitimate businesses require capital investment. Blogging is not free. To rank on the first page of Google, you need a fast, reliable website, which means paying for high-quality hosting and a professional top-level domain name. You will likely need to purchase premium plugins to handle caching, security, and image optimization because site speed is a major ranking factor. You should also consider setting aside a monthly marketing budget, perhaps $400 to $500, specifically for building backlinks. We will discuss this in more detail shortly, but you must understand that in a competitive environment, you often have to spend money to make money. If you cannot afford to invest in backlinks, you might be tempted to use black hat tactics like spamming your links in comment sections, but you must not do this. Google is smart enough to notice this behavior and will penalize your domain rating, potentially banning you from search results entirely. The most effective monetization strategy. Is blogging still profitable looking ahead to the future? Yes, but the game has fundamentally changed. If you rely on affiliate marketing alone, it can be very tough unless you are writing very specific product reviews with high buyer intent. I once had a blog with 10,000 monthly visitors, and my affiliate income was negligible because my content was educational rather than transactional. So what is the best way to monetize a blog today? In my opinion, the most consistent revenue stream comes from selling links, also known as guest posts or promotional articles. Here is exactly how this business model works. There is a massive industry of SEO agencies and digital marketing firms that need to build authority for their corporate clients. They are willing to pay website owners like you to publish an article that contains a do-follow link back to their client's website. You can earn anywhere from $100 to $500 for a single article, and often the agency will even write the content for you, meaning you just have to review it, publish it, and get paid. The amount you can charge depends heavily on your domain authority and your traffic volume. You might wonder if this practice is safe, and generally the answer is yes, provided you are careful and discerning. You must ensure you do not accept low-quality, spammy, or illegal content, and you should be transparent by marking paid links as sponsored in your code to protect yourself from Google penalties. This is why I suggest focusing on building a high-authority site. When your domain authority increases, your site becomes a valuable digital asset, and I had people reaching out to me for link placements as soon as I hit just 2,000 visitors per month. Building authority and momentum. Increasing your domain authority is the hardest and most time-consuming part of this business. It requires you to publish a large volume of high-quality content and, crucially, to get other reputable websites to link back to you. This is where your budget comes into play, because you may need to pay other high-authority sites in your niche to link to you first. This signals to Google that your site is trustworthy and relevant. You need to build a healthy, organic-looking backlink profile. You can start with what we call pillow links from social media profiles and forums, but these will not move the needle significantly. To see a serious increase in authority, you need links from big, reputable sites within your industry. If a major site like Forbes or a large industry publication links to you, Google rewards you quickly, but if your backlink profile looks artificial or spammy, Google will assume you are manipulating the system and will de-index you. Once your authority begins to rise, you will start ranking for more competitive keywords, which brings in more traffic. When you have more traffic, people naturally share your posts, earning you free backlinks on autopilot. It's a classic flywheel effect, but you have to push incredibly hard at the beginning to get it spinning. Also, the more traffic you get, the more you will automatically appear on the radar of marketing agencies, meaning you do not need to cold email them. They will come to you with offers.
Leveraging video and social media. To speed up this growth process, you need a social media presence, but do not try to be everywhere at once because you simply do not have the time. I recommend choosing one platform and dominating it. Personally, I believe YouTube is the absolute best companion for a blog. You should create videos that mirror your niche topics, and in every video, mention your blog and put the direct link in the description. Since Google owns YouTube, they love it when you embed your YouTube videos directly into your blog posts. This keeps people on your page longer, increasing your dwell time, which is a massive signal to Google that your content is valuable. I know many people suggest Pinterest, telling you to spam the platform with dozens of pins daily. In my experience, this is a high-effort strategy for a relatively low reward. You have to learn a whole new algorithm, and while the traffic is free, it often does not convert well into sales or revenue. If you have limited time, focus your energy on Google SEO and video content, because these are evergreen assets that continue to grow and compound over time. Mastering keyword research and content structure. Finally, let's talk about the technical foundation of your posts, keyword research. You cannot just guess what people are searching for, you need concrete data. While free tools like SpyFu or Google Keyword Planner are acceptable for beginners, if you want to compete seriously, you will eventually need professional tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush. Here is the golden rule you must follow. Focus on one main keyword per post. If you write 5 different articles all targeting the exact same keyword, you will confuse Google in a phenomenon called keyword cannibalization, where your pages compete against each other. Instead, pick one primary keyword for each article. For a new site, you must focus on long-tail keywords. These are longer, more specific phrases that have lower search volume but much lower competition. For example, you will never rank for the single word wellness against giant corporations. However, you might rank for holistic wellness tips for busy beginners. Make sure that specific phrase appears in your title, your URL, and your first paragraph. Then, you must ensure your content is high quality. This means your site is well structured, easy to read, and loads instantly. It means your articles are substantial, ideally over 1,000 words, covering the topic in depth. It also means you use proper internal linking, connecting your most important pages to each other so Google's bots can crawl them easily. Conclusion. To summarize our conversation, blogging is not a dead industry, but it has evolved significantly. To succeed today, you must treat your blog as a serious media asset rather than a personal hobby. You must pick a specific, narrow niche, be willing to invest capital in speed and backlinks, and consider monetization strategies beyond just simple ads, specifically by selling promotional placements to agencies. If you can build a site that reaches a domain authority of even 10 or 20, the emails will start coming in and the revenue will follow. It takes work, it takes patience, and it requires a business mindset, but the rewards are worth the effort. Thank you for listening, and I wish you the best of luck on your blogging journey.